Good afternoon. First off, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Hello!
Good afternoon, Bob. How are you doing?
Hey, what's up, Mikey? Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. It was small. We only had like 13 people, so it was small for us. Usually we're closer to 20.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
it was nice. We all had a good time. Food was good.
Actually, now that you mention it, I think my Thanksgiving was similar to that. We had probably around 13, and we typically have closer to 20. But it was a lot of my cousins and family members every other year.
Oh, okay, that's right.
If you got a spouse, they do it every other with the spouse. So, yeah, but it was good. I didn't mind it being a little bit low-key, getting to watch some football on Thanksgiving. Because, less people, less aunts, less cousins that you don't really have to chit-chat with. You can kind of watch
Yeah,
ball games with the
I did a lot of that.
Chill out. But yeah, after like everybody in America, after dinner, I just kind of gonked out there on the couch a little bit. But that's part of the tradition. That's part of the fun of Thanksgiving is watching football and just chilling out on the couch. Like, what else are we gonna watch?
Right.
Goodness, football's on. Because if not, I don't know what we'd watch.
There's nothing else on TV on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So, but I'll get a food ranking from you. You thought that because we didn't have a tailgate last week that you wouldn't have to do a food ranking, but I'll get a food ranking from you here soon.
Great.
On your Thanksgiving. But welcome to the podcast, everybody. Of course, this is the podcast where we press record, leave in the driveway, and we upload as we go to the stadium. And tonight we've got the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football. So it is Sunday. It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Our GPS has us arriving. Oh, geez, we must have some traffic. We must have some traffic. I know these
Just
GPS
before 3,
anymore.
so
It doesn't typically forecast us out an hour and 44-minute drive. It typically forecasts us at this point like an hour and 20.
Yeah,
And then readjust from there. But they must already know that there's some holiday traffic on our route. So, hey, don't worry. This isn't going to be an hour and 44-minute podcast, people. We're going to try to keep this into 4 15-minute quarters, huh, Mike?
hey, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, so. But as far as today's podcast agenda goes, we don't have a game to recap from last week. That was done in last week's bye-week podcast. We do want to talk about some things that have happened over the bye, and specifically how some of our players are recovering. And then we'll get into our Can't Lose Locks, our new segment, of course, NFC Beast to Least. And then we got to talk about Denver versus Washington, our Sunday Night Football matchup. But,
Yeah.
Any little teaser here? How we thinking? How we doing?
I hope we have our crap together. I'll self-edit there. I hope we have our crap together, or it could be another rough game, but we'll see.
It could be another rough game, but any given Sunday, right?
Yeah, anything can happen, okay?
Do I sense any little hint of optimism here?
There is a sliver of hope, okay?
All right. You're not putting money anywhere, but he's
No, and if anyone else is smart, they wouldn't put money on this game either, so.
Well, it depends on which side of the line you're
Right.
on. Because you can put money on it if you want it, but I wouldn't put it on us. Is the best way to put it.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah. So, but from, just real quick, like anything stand out from you from the games that have taken place thus far? Of course, we had 3 on Thanksgiving. We had one on Black Friday there.
Well, none of them went the way I had anticipated. I'll just say that.
Oh, so a little bit of a hint of how maybe our Can't Lose Locks are going so far this week.
Yeah. Well,
Which, by the way, folks, it's 1:12 as we record this, and some of our Can't Lose Locks are, at the moment, playing. So, forgive us. This is when we get the podcast out. we're staying true to our picks for week by week. It's just, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But, so you're saying maybe
Little
we got some work to do today?
Yeah, a little bit more losing and not so much locking. Okay.
Oh man, well that's just how it be sometimes, you know. That's just how it be going. That's just how things go sometimes. It's tough picking the NFL. If it was easy, people would be making lots of money. And listen, the amount of people out there betting games that are actually making money, it's not that many. And if they're telling you that they make money, they're lying.
All we gotta do is ask Tom. He knows all about that.
Well, like I said, the amount of people out there actually making money are slim. Now, with that being said, if you're betting our podcasts, you're doing good. You're doing good. So, but this kind of gets into a conversation I was having with one of my cousins on Thanksgiving, was that you got to withdraw the funds from DraftKings, because we were talking about the games that they play on their phone on the shitter, right? And then somehow the conversation got brought up that Shaquille O'Neal supposedly spends $50,000 a year on in-app purchases, and most specifically just random games, which is kind of crazy. But when you're a bazillionaire like Shaq, then, you know, them gems, if you want those tokens, if you want to...
What the hell is that pop-up?
Oh, jeez, what do we have? Some technical difficulties. It's probably a good thing. The Shaquille O'Neal kind of conversation, he's dead.
I mean, we're talking now, so.
Well, how do you...
But go on.
Turn that iPad sideways. We're back on?
Yep, we're back on.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, when you drive and podcast, there's gonna be little hiccups. But anyway, you gotta withdraw the funds from your DraftKings, otherwise they're just DraftKings tokens. You know what I mean? It never becomes real money. You might as well just be buying DraftKings tokens, but you have to withdraw it. You know, if you just keep that stuff in there, it's never real. You can't ever spend it on anything other than DraftKings bets.
So how often should you withdraw?
As soon as you win that shit. As soon as you win it. As soon as you win it, withdraw it. That's what I say. And then people say, well, there's fees to withdraw and this and that. It's like, yeah, what'd you win? What did you win? It's not like they're taking all of your money. It's nowhere near the SeatGeek fees that we be seeing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we know too much about that. It's killing our...
You can't even sell it on SeatGeek with the fees. This doesn't make any damn sense.
Because you gotta figure how much do you want to make as a potential profit while factoring in the fees. It's can be tough sledding out there.
Yeah, and you know what else is tough? When you have season tickets and your team sucks and nobody wants to buy your seats. That's what sucks. You want to talk about injuries around the league? I mean, we're season
up
ticket
there.
holders of the Commandos. We're getting pretty banged up this year in terms of some of this stuff. I mean, we'll get into what they're doing to try to help with that stuff. But anyway,
I looked this morning, and tickets on average are selling for about $35.
What?
Yeah.
$35 for this game?
Yeah. As of this morning, on average, it doesn't matter where you're trying to sit, it's like $35.
Oh, jeez. That's crazy. But no, I mean, we are banged up and we are injured. So I'll say this much.
What's...
Go ahead. Go ahead. You're good. You're good.
I don't know what that was all about.
This guy pulled into our gas pump and then was like asking me if he should move.
He should just pump his gas and then get out of our way.
We'll wait. I mean, people get intimidated with a big vehicle. Like, oh, am I at the right spot? No, I mean, you shouldn't. I guess that's where he's supposed to be. But we'll back in when this guy comes out. But no, you want to talk about injuries because we do want to talk about injuries because some of the talk and what we talked about last week was Jaden Daniels and whether or not he should come back. He's not coming back this week, which I think is obviously he's not healthy, so don't come back. But the conversation is, should he come back when he's healthy? And Joe Burrow gave a good soundbite for some insight on this topic. So let's hear what Joe Burrow has to say and whether or not you agree or disagree. But he's a professional NFL quarterback, and he's been injured, and people have been having the same kind of conversations in his fan base as we've been having about ours.
Yes, I understand why people feel that way, but if you look at it from my perspective, I'm a football player, and if I get hurt, I'm going to go through the rehab process, and then I'm going to let everybody know when I feel like I can go out there and play. I don't really know what else to say about that. I'm not going to ever go to somebody and say, yeah, I'm healthy, but I don't think I should go out there and play. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm not going to live my life and play this game scared of something happening. Like, yeah, something's going to happen. It's football. Guys are going to get hurt. Guys are going to get concussions. You're going to break bones, tear ligaments. It's a physical, intense game. That's part of this. And yeah, I've had injuries. There's not a lot I can do about that. I work really hard to have that not happen, but what I can do is when it does happen, I can control how I'm attacking my rehab and attacking practice and doing everything in my power to get back as quickly as possible. That's what I did.
So obviously Burrow, he's been injured for most of the season.
Yeah.
And this isn't his first season where he's had a lot of time off, and people just, his fan base, obviously he's an awesome quarterback. His fan base wants to see him play. They want to see him healthy. So
He's just been injury prone the last couple of years.
they're in a tough division like that. But I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I mean, as far as
And this is obviously a carryover of the same discussion we were having a week ago. I mean, reports are that JD, he's practicing this week, so he's not 100% clear to play, but he's clear to practice.
I mean, practice is good, but big picture, you have to do what's right for the team, regardless of what the star quarterback or quarterback in general wants to do. It is a juggling act, but just because he's ready doesn't mean that it's the right thing to do big picture for the team. How are they playing right now? Is there anything to play for? Is it just generally better that perhaps he sits out the remainder of the season? I don't know. Given our track record, I would prefer to be more cautious than to just play him because he's ready.
6 games left, still a lot of time. Not to say that there's much we can do with it, but there's still a lot of season left to play. And at what point are you going to say, he's been healthy, he's cleared. But, and part of me too thinks...
He's not ready to go back yet, or he'd be starting today, so,
And the other piece of the puzzle is, look, if they weren't going to play him anymore, he'd be on the IR.
Right.
He's not on the IR. They would have called it when the injury happened if that was going to be the case. But you don't let him come back and rehab and practice only to say, oh yeah, we're going to shut you down for the rest of the season, now put you on the IR. That just doesn't make any sense. So I think all things are pointing to him coming back and playing at some point during this season. So, well, I mean, look, we don't need to speculate. I mean, he's out and about, and they put a microphone in his face. Let's just hear what they had to say, what Jaden Daniels had to say when they called him at a charity event.
elbow, and what's the challenge been of kind of rehabbing and getting back to maybe on the field?
I would say first and foremost, I'm happy to be out here. Jaden Downs Foundation, partner with the Commanders, to give some good back for the holidays. Make sure people have meals on Thanksgiving. And then to answer your question, it's a day-by-day process. Just getting back in the rhythm of things, the flow of things.
Why is it important for you to get back out there? Because I don't know if you've been paying attention. There's a lot of fans out there, Jaden, that are concerned that maybe you go back out there and get hurt again.
I got to go out there and play football. If I'm back out there, I'm healthy and I'm ready to go. I want to be out there.
Jaden, ultimately, who makes that decision if you go out there and play?
It's a collective. It's my team. It's going to be the medical staff, the team, and it's no really discussions of anything right now. It's more so just getting back healthy and feeling back good. If I'm out there, man, I'm gonna give it my all. So it's gonna be important. As a football player, you want to go back there and play and a competitor, and that's who I am. So if I have the opportunity to go back there and play, but right now I'm really just taking it day by day and week by week.
So he basically tells you it's a group effort. He's going to have some input. Doctors are going to have some input. Then obviously the organization from the football side is going to have some input. And I'm sure there'll be one part of that puzzle, There's a lot of balls juggling in the air there.
Yeah.
So I think that there's somebody going to say, well, Jaden, we're 3 in this, we're 4 in this, we're whatever our record is
right
at that point, and basically say there's something to be said about just continuing your rehab, getting a head start on everything towards next season and coming back 100%. No sense in putting yourself in any more harm or any more risk, So there's somebody that's going to come in with that perspective. But I think for the most part, it's going to say, well, look, I'm going to be rehabbing, I'm going to be practicing, I'm going to be around the team anyway. Why not just stick me out there? Because we can at least win a couple games. Because that's always the micro versus macro. It's what's the goal? Win football games or look ahead to next season and try to win the Super Bowl and not put yourself in harm's way. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. Depending on how these last 5 or 6 games go, I think really is what's gonna decide it. Regardless of what I think that's what's gonna decide it, because like you said, what do we have to play for? What's the objective? So maybe if we win, and this is a big maybe, maybe if we win half of our remaining games, it might be worth it to put him in.
Well, look, it's all about the NFC East from this point on, pretty much. And if you're one of these people out there that's into NFL conspiracy theories and you think that the NFL is scripted, well, HBO's probably got something to do with that script, and we're on it. So, Mike, that noise we keep hearing?
What's that?
It's our cups.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's our Jack and Ginger thermoses that are rolling around back there. They must have come dislodged.
The listeners will get over it.
They must have come dislodged. But I'll tell you this: I'm not gonna spend the next hour and a half listening to them rattle around. So, as we wrap up this conversation, and we're at a good point here where I can turn off into the which little league is this?
I think this is what.
I
think it's, what is it, Chooseville or whatever?
This is the Chooseville Community Center. But what's the little league ballpark here? And by little league ballpark, I just mean like one field. But we're gonna pull off here so I can figure out those Cubs, and then we're gonna talk about our can't lose locks before it gets too late in the 1 o'clock window.
Can't lose locks.
All right, so our can't lose locks this week. Michael, how are we doing? How did you do last week? Do you know that off the top?
Last week, yes, I do. Last week, I went 9-5.
9-5, pretty good.
And
9-5. You're still up.
yeah, like my record's something like 113-66.
113. I mean, still just adding to it.
Well,
I love it.
I needed the buffer, trust me.
All right, so now obviously we've already had 4 games go final this week,
And
for the Thanksgiving Thursday games and the Black Friday.
And the 1 o'clock games just started about an hour ago.
Right. So, how have we done thus far? What did you go with for the Thanksgiving Day games?
Oh, I'll tell you what I went with, but not doing well. Okay.
Okay.
So on Thanksgiving Day, there were 3 games, right? There was a 1, a 4, and an 8. So the first game was, of course, the Packers against the Lions in Detroit. And I went with the Lions and lost. Okay. The 4 o'clock game was Kansas City against Dallas in Dallas. I went with Kansas City and lost.
Sure, lots of people did.
And then the 8 o'clock game was, of course, the divisional game between the Bengals and the Ravens in Baltimore.
Right.
I went with Baltimore
You went with
and
Ravens.
lost.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Okay.
Right.
And then on Black Friday, there was the 3 o'clock game. It was the Bears against the Eagles in Philly, I believe. So I went with the Eagles and lost. So recapping, I'm at an 0-4 start to this week 13.
Oh. Yeah. So pretty rough going.
Pretty
far.
rough. That's putting it mildly.
But I'll be honest, going through those picks, those are some tough picks because I think a lot of people probably picked with you there.
I mean, they honestly were tough picks, and I figured I would,
Maybe split.
Yeah, I figured I would split because they really were some good games. I watched them all on Thanksgiving. They were all good games, and I knew that they would be just looking at the matchups, but I figured at best I would probably split.
Right. Yeah. I mean, those were good matchups, some good games over the week. So.
But yeah, I went 0 for 4.
Well, give me the 1 o'clock window and leading on into the rest of these weeks
Right.
window.
So 1 o'clock games that are going on now. Rams against the Panthers. I went with the Rams. And heck, I'll just give you the scores as of right now. Currently, the Rams are losing to the Panthers 14-7 in the second quarter.
I don't want the scores right now.
Oh, that's right. It probably
Don't give me the scores right now.
That's right. It probably affects what you're about to tell us. So I'll leave the scores out. All right. Next game, Niners against the Browns. I went with the Niners. Colts against the Texans. I went with the Colts. Dolphins against the Saints. I went with the Dolphins. Falcons against the Jets. I went with the Falcons because we all know how much I think the Jets are trash this year. Cardinals against Tampa Bay. I went with Tampa Bay. And the final game in the 1 o'clock hour, Jaguars against the Titans, and I went with the Jaguars. Now the 4 o'clock games, Minnesota against Seattle, I went with Seattle. Raiders against the Chargers, I went with the Chargers. Bills against the Steelers, I went with the Bills. I'll skip our game because that's the Sunday night game. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
So I'll skip that. And then the Monday night game is the Giants against the Patriots, and I went with the Patriots.
Good call on that, I think, unless they overlook the Giants. But yeah, probably a good pick there. That's probably the safest pick that you went with. And that's on Monday night, yeah.
Yeah, the Giants and the Patriots. Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, Tom had another good week last week, and he's off to another good week this week. Of course, he was first option. So if he wanted any of the Thursday games or whatever, he could have took them. So Tom is now 31-17.
Wow.
Yep, I am 27-20-1. So just a couple games back. They're about 3.5. That one push there is gonna come into play as the season progresses. But Tom went Cincinnati. Of course, just to remind our listeners, Tom and I, we go a favorite, an underdog, an over, and an under against the entire NFL slate, and we alternate who picks first week by week. So Tom went Cincinnati +7. He got that. He went Atlanta -2.5. He's got Jacksonville, Tennessee over 41.5. And then he went Baltimore, Cincinnati under 52.5 points, and he got that. So already he's got 2 wins going into Sunday. I didn't take any games from Thursday or Friday.
Okay.
All my games are taking place today.
Any particular reason why? Because they were good matchups.
I just figured, Tom didn't get his picks in quite before the 3. I mean, he got it before the Baltimore game, but and I wasn't really into it. There was nothing that really stood out to me on those games. If there was something that I wanted, that I probably would have nudged him and said, "Hey, you picking any? Because I want to take one." But there was none. And you know what? Thank goodness, because I probably would have lost. But I went Carolina +10. I went Buffalo -3. I went San Francisco at Cleveland over 35.5. Son of a gun. I accidentally gave Tom 2 overs, so everybody's going to get a bonus pick here. But I went Minnesota, Seattle under 42.5 points. And then my bonus pick, because I accidentally plugged this into Tom, so I'm just going to plug this in as a bonus. Las Vegas at Los Angeles Chargers over 40.5. And that's about as good as I can read and drive, Mike.
I mean, I think you nailed it.
Thanks. But yeah, so I have no idea how our picks are lining up. Just did you, as I was spouting my picks out and as you were looking at yours, the 1 o'clock window there, are we looking good, looking bad, looking okay?
I mean, do you want to know the scores right now? I'll tell you.
If there's anything crazy, tell me that. If everything's kind of meshing out. Is anybody blowing anybody out right now? It's 156, people.
I mean, the Dolphins are leading the Saints 10-0 at the beginning of the second. Jaguars are ahead of the Titans 15-3. And that's it. Everything else hasn't really done too much.
Rams, Carolina are tied at 14 right now. I'm scanning my fantasy. Devontae Adams has got 19 points for me. I need a big game fantasy-wise. At this point, I need to win out in the regular season.
Oh yeah, I just refreshed. I do see the Rams are they're tied.
Our season's really competitive this year. It always is. But yeah, so those are can't lose logs. I think we're doing good. I mean, I'll be curious to see if this is the week where you finally get into the loss category. You've been successful all week, which I think is it's hard. Not a lot of other people can say that you've went all season long. Those so far, just picking every game, not against the.
I mean, the odds are I would eventually have a losing weekend. I mean, yeah, it does seem like it could be this week because that 0-for start certainly didn't help.
Right.
So put me into a deep hole, much like the Commanders season.
Yeah. Well, so that's it for Can't Lose Locks, and I think this is a good segue into our next segment, which is only a couple weeks old, but we're calling our NFC East from Beast to Least.
Dallas sucks. Go Birds. It's the greatest city in the world.
It was glory hole days, and I've been here when it wasn't. And so, having said that, I want me some glory hole.
Go Birds! ELVS!
Washington football team.
NFC East. From Beast to Least.
So we've got our NFC East Beast and Least. And Mike and I have discussed each week we're going to go back and forth with who determines who is the Beast and who is the Least for this segment. Mike's going to start us off with our NFC Least. And who do you got as our least of the NFC East this week, Mike?
I went with the Eagles, who are currently 8-4, and
Top of the division.
Yeah, top of the division. But they definitely seem to be struggling a bit. They've lost their last two. Of course, we know that they lost on Black Friday to the Bears. And then prior to that, they lost to the Cowboys. And they seem to be struggling. There were a lot of fire Sirianni chants through the game, I heard.
They were booing the offense after the first drive.
And then, after the game, they were talking about, were they potentially going to fire their offensive coordinator and make some changes with the play calling and stuff. So for a team that's atop our league right now, they're definitely not playing like it or acting like it. They're definitely having some struggles. So whether it's a sign of things to come, because they've imploded in years past, as we know.
It always happens towards the end of the season for them, too, is where you start to hear all the locker room chatter and you've been hearing all season about how A.J. Brown's just been unhappy. I don't know. Like, why is he so upset? Has anybody been able to figure that out? Like, is it just the typical wide receiver, I'm not getting the ball?
That's what I think it is. But I can't say for 100%.
I gotta imagine they're gonna move on from A.J. Brown. He's got, I don't know what his contract is and where that ranks around the league, but I mean, you can't continue to hear week after week.
Well, usually if you're
season about a player just being unhappy,
and usually if your star wide receiver is unhappy, that usually means that you're gonna part ways at some point. So I mean, look at the Niners. Look at the Niners and Ayuk. They got rid of all his guaranteed money for 2026, and it certainly seems like they're gonna head for, lack of a better word, a divorce in the off season.
There's been some chatter that we might go after him.
So, I mean, it's something to consider. I know that there was some chatter about us going after him before we signed Debo. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's possible, but we'll see. But yeah, I think right now the Eagles are the least because they are definitely in their late season struggles, which they, like you said, tends to happen to them at this point in the year.
And they're an easy answer because we haven't played yet.
Yeah, we have them over the next couple of weeks, almost back-to-back games. But
the Bears, they ran all over them. Literally ran all over them. I think they ran as a team. Total rushing yards was 281 1 yards, and they were just controlling the clock against the Eagles. Look, that fan base is tough on their opponents. The fan base is even tougher on them.
Yeah.
They were running towards the exits and around the fourth quarter.
I didn't watch the Black Friday game too closely.
I caught little bits and pieces because we had our annual Turkey Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all us and the guys, the high school buddies, we get out onto the high school field.
Yeah, you guys do that on Black Friday, yeah.
Yeah, this year we did a little bit different. We it was about 4 years after high school. I think my buddy said this was our 17th year. So around 4 years after we stopped doing tackle, because we did tackle. Then we go to touch. You did touch for about 4 years. And then we moved to flag, and we did flag for about 4 years. So this was the first year, what do you do after flag? Because the numbers keep getting less and less. People don't want to get injured. We've had some injuries through the years.
Yeah.
And so people
Something to think about. You're not as young as you once were.
So we changed it to a punt pass kick and had some points and everything like that. Of course, I was the one to get injured this year. I pulled my hamstring on the 43rd yard of the 40-yard dash. I should go with like the 13th yard of the 40-yard dash because my time wasn't that great, but it wasn't that bad either. But anyway, that's why I only got little blips and pieces there. But for that reason, I'll tell you who my NFC beast is, Michael. And it's not who you're expecting. I don't think it's who anybody's expecting. But this is really going to set the precedence for this segment. So,
a team that is known as the Bears.
The Bears. The Bears.
The Bears.
So, I got the Bears.
Really?
I got the Bears as the NFC East beast.
Why is that? That's an interesting pick because I know when we sort of started this segment, I thought we'd sort of stay in the division, but I'm curious your thoughts.
They crushed the Eagles. They put up all those rushing yards up on the Eagles, right?
Yeah, they're like 9-3. Is that their record this year?
8? Are they 9? Let me see. Did I write that down? I did not write that down. Maybe I did. Yeah, they're 9-3. They're 9-3. Now, this is why I got them as the NFC East beast, because in week 3, the Bears beat Dallas 31-14. And in week 6, the Bears beat Washington. Remember that game?
Yeah.
25-24, the late Jake Daniels fumble.
Mm-hmm.
Then in week 10, the Bears go on to play the Giants and beat the Giants 24-20. And, of course, we just saw what happened in Week 13 against the Eagles. The Bears beat the Eagles 24-15. So, yeah, Bears got 9 wins. 4 of them are against our division. They beat us all up. So that's why I've got the Chicago Bears.
When you lay it out like that, that's a solid choice for a beast.
Yeah, not many. I don't think many teams can say that they've beat every team in another division. It happens, obviously, but the Bears are that team. Last year, I think we were that team that kind of surprised everybody. I think this year, the Bears are that team that's kind of surprising everybody. I really didn't think that, because Ben Johnson just, to me, looks like an offensive coordinator. He doesn't seem like he can command a team the same way a lot of other head coaches seem to be able to do.
Yeah.
But, obviously...
But much like with us,
I could have misjudged him. I could have misjudged him. He's got obviously a different style that I'm used to seeing around the league. But also, just based off of what I saw from Caleb last year, I didn't think that he'd be able to replicate it.
Well, much like with our team, it'll be interesting to see what happens in year 3 because, like you just said, we've kind of flip-flopped.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments both teams make and, what happens for each of us in year 3 with these new head coaches.
Oh, we're going to track the Bears for the rest of Jaden Daniels' career.
For the obvious reasons, yes.
I mean, the same way I looked at Andrew Luck and RG3 coming through. Those two players are forever going to be tied, just based off of where they were drafted. So be curious to see how that all plays out. But yeah, that's why I went with the Bears as our NFC East beast, and let that be a lesson to you for future segments.
What's that?
Think outside the box here. It doesn't necessarily need to be a player or a team within our division to claim the NFC beast or least title. But yeah, that was kind of my thoughts.
Thanks for the education.
So next week, I will take the least, and next week, you will take the beast.
Yeah.
Deal?
Or the opposite, because yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You had it right. I had it wrong.
Yeah, can't triple. What'd you just say?
We don't need to repeat it. If the listeners want to hear it, they can hit the back button.
Right. Well, we have been hitting a little bit of traffic here on 270. We've got about 18 miles till we hit 495 east. But it looks like we're about to break through some of this traffic. The weather today is kind of overcast. It looks like the sun wants to break out.
It's popped out a few times on our
some
commute down
precipitation.
so far.
There was some snowflakes on the windshield this morning. There must have had some flurries last night.
Oh, didn't even notice.
Yep, I had some flurries. What's the temperature looking like? I think we're only going to get about a high of 40 degrees today.
I think that's about right. I don't have it in front of me, and I'm not going to take the time to look, but 40 seems about right.
Well, I dusted off the Long Johns for my turkey bowl on Friday. They made their way back into the wash. I got them back on today. I'm not going to be cold at this game today. I'm also rocking my new game day shoes. New early Christmas gift from Tops. They're these nice high top leather black boots, and it's got the W helmet on one side. It's got the W logo on the other. It's got Redskins down towards the toe. It's got the NFL shield on the tongue. Some sweet boots. And then I'm rocking my throwback Jaden Daniels jersey today because it's the throwback. It's the throwback game. They're going to be wearing their white throwbacks for the Broncos game tonight. So what you went with your Kerrigan?
Yeah, I went with my Kerrigan jersey.
I mean, it's a throwback.
Yep.
It's a Redskins jersey.
Yeah, because I've already worn the Daniels jersey to a couple of games, so wanted to change it up.
If he was playing tonight, you'd be wearing your throwback Daniels.
Oh yeah, if he were playing tonight, that would have been a no-brainer.
Right. Well, let's scoot on down the road here for a little bit, and then we'll come back. We'll break down what our tailgate's going to look like. We'll break down the Denver Broncos a little bit. And we'll kind of talk about our predictions and what we think out of tonight's Sunday night football matchup. So let's give you a little taste of what it would sound like if you wanted to advertise on this podcast.
This is what an ad read would sound like if you or your business wanted to use our platform for your product. That's right. Imagine your product here. It could be anything. A service, a gadget, a business, an event. Hey, maybe you're just a guy with a dream. We would tell people how revolutionary it is, even if it's basically the same thing they already have. Maybe it's just in a different color. We'd probably say something like trusted by experts, even though we never mention who those experts are. We'd drop in a buzzword or two. Innovation, synergy, disruption to the markets. All the good stuff that means absolutely nothing. At the end of the day, Mike and I just want to keep going to these games, and well, we need money to do that. So if you like us, then we absolutely love you, your product, your business, your gadget, your gizmos, but most importantly, your money. So if you'd like to advertise on this podcast, feel free to reach out to us.
Side effects of sponsoring this podcast may include increased brand awareness, sudden surges in coolness, minor boosts in revenue, major boosts in Mike and Bob's tailgate budget, the eternal guilt of knowing you funded two grown men yelling about football into a microphone while driving. We are available in Alaska, Hawaii, and parts of Delaware. Consult your doctor before operating heavy machinery while listening to this podcast. Results not guaranteed, but the vibes immaculate.
So, Mikey, let's get into this week's matchup. Sunday Night Football, we got the Denver Broncos coming to town. Well, before we get into the football, we have been talking here on the commercial break how hungry we are, man. I am starving marmot, dude.
Yeah, I haven't had, yeah.
So we're going with one of my tailgate go-tos. We have not made it yet this season, but we're going with shish kebabs, steak kebabs, and pork chop kebabs. So I'm looking forward to grilling those suckers up. We got onions, we got peppers, we got tomatoes. And because we didn't do a tailgate last week, I guess technically we did watch football last week, and we did have those Thanksgiving style sandwiches. Do you want to put that on the ranking?
No, because
they don't really count.
It's not a tailgating. No, it doesn't count.
It wasn't a Washington tailgate.
Right.
It was just football food.
Yeah, it was just a meal that was prepared.
But I'm not going to let you off the hook here without some type of a food ranking. Here's what I want to know quickly. What was the best thing on the Thanksgiving spread for your Thanksgiving meal, and what was the worst? What maybe didn't even make the plate?
Well, the one thing for me that never makes the plate is oyster stuffing.
Oyster stuffing?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know nothing about oyster stuffing. Oyster stuffing's never made it to my Thanksgiving.
Well, it makes it to ours. My uncle makes it, but I don't eat it.
So it's just stuffing with oysters in it?
Yeah.
How are the oysters prepared in the stuffing? Are they just raw oysters? You throw it into this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. That's a good.
But it's
if
not.
We're ranking our beast and least of your Thanksgiving. That's a good least.
But that never makes my plate. But everything else does. The turkey, the ham, the mashed potatoes, the sweet potatoes.
Is there anything especially good in this year's Thanksgiving?
I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Thanksgiving or Easter. Like, we have the same spread.
Right.
And it's phenomenal every year. You have a turkey, you have ham, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, green bean casserole.
Oh no, Clark, it's just it's just
macaroni
a little dry.
Macaroni and cheese. I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, but I need like a favorite, a top dog on the plate. What was something you said? Oh yeah, this was really good this year.
I mean, my go-to outside of the turkey and the ham is always mashed potatoes and gravy.
Okay, so the mashed potatoes and gravy was your.
That's always that always has to be.
Well, I was in charge of mashed potatoes for my family's Thanksgiving, and I served it in a Washington beer bucket.
Of course you did.
And then until I realized it wasn't microwavable safe. So I transferred it to a microwavable safe dish, but it made the transport. It was just plastic.
Did you realize before or after you put it in the microwave that it was not microwave safe?
Before, my aunt asked if that was microwavable safe, and luckily the price tag was still on the bottom of the bucket, and it said on there that it was not. Because if we would have heated that sucker up, I guess that whole thing would have just melted into like a plastic ball of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, it's a good thing that you caught that before you potentially started a house fire.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, so that's it for the food. I'm looking forward to this week's tailgate. But just to wrap up the food, you just said it to me this week, and I think it's going to be. We've got one more throwback jersey game.
Christmas Day against the Cowboys.
And it's going to be the same deal, but for the throwback games, Washington Commanders are doing their throwback
retro pricing.
Yeah, so for hot dogs in the stadium today, it's going to be $1.75. Popcorn is going to be $1, and sodas are 75 cents. I don't even think you can get sodas for 75 cents anywhere.
You can't.
The 50-cent can of soda is long gone anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
There's no vending machines with that price point.
Yeah, I think the cheapest might be $1.50. Could be over $2 now off of a vending machine.
Yeah, classic hardtail. But enough for food. Let's get into the football. I believe we're a 6-point dog at home today. I forget what our over is under is set. I'll look that up as we're going through some of our stats. But kind of break down the Denver Broncos for me and the listeners here. What do we got in store?
So let's see. They rank 15th in points per game. They rank 20th in pass yards per game. Rush yards per game, they rank 11th. I'll give you the specific number there, 122.3. They rank 3rd in points allowed at 17.5. Pass yards allowed per game, they rank 5th at 185.8. And rush yards allowed per game, they rank 3rd, 88.5. So really, they're
better
top 20
defensively than offensively.
Yeah.
But they're in the top half in pretty much every cat.
Yeah.
So,
but they are better defensively than offensively. But we'll see. I mean, it all depends what Denver does against us.
Both teams tonight coming off of their bye week. So if you think Denver coming across the country,
a little jet lag.
I mean, not really. They're coming off of a bye, so that doesn't really play. And they're going to be just as rested as us. But if you're coming off a bye, you like to be at home off a bye week as opposed to getting right back into a plane. Especially we're coming out off of a plane back from Spain, a tough Spain trip. But Broncos 8-game win streak. Whoa, we got some
rough bridge.
Some rough roads here. The rain's really spitting at us here, and we've been struggling with traffic for the majority of the drive. But the Broncos 8-game win streak that we're going to hope to snap tonight, and they are 5-0 against sub-500 teams, which we are. And the other stat that I kind of saw that I liked, what was it? That their defense, this is where their defense is really good. Their defense has held 7 of their 11 opponents to under 20 points. So, defensively, we got our work cut out for us. I'll say this in terms of, well, let's start with this. What Denver needs to do to win, dominate the clock like they can do, stop the run like they can do, and just wait for us to shoot ourselves in the foot, which
we can do.
We can do.
We've done many times.
So I think it's a really easy blueprint. I mean, they just need to play their game. If they play their game, then we have our work cut out for us. It's going to be a long night.
Yeah, because what's going to happen? Which one of our defenses is going to show up?
Well, this is where we get into putting the shoe on the other foot on ways to where how can we win tonight's game? And I think we saw some improvement in the Miami game and against our defense. I mean, Miami's offense is nothing to really. I mean, they're not stellar like.
But if a version of that defense shows up, we could have a fighting chance.
Bo Nix can turn the ball over. Their statistical offensive categories, they're better at running the ball than they are passing the ball. So we really need to make him feel uncomfortable. I need defensively, let me see. I've got these notes down here. All right, I've got it. I've got 3 things. We need to protect the quarterback because defensively they're very good. They can sack the quarterback. So we need to protect Marcus back there. The next thing that we need to do to win the game is we need a big game out of our running backs. We need a big game out of our running backs. I'd like to see Rodriguez control.
Do they give Bill the ball more?
That's the
That'd
thing.
be
I'd like to
interesting
see. I'd like to see Bill as our change of pace. I'd like to see Rodriguez as our workhorse. Look for Rodriguez to score tonight. I think.
And then
I'd like to see Bill get more involved than he has been in recent weeks. It really just goes back down to that Bears game. He fumbled that ball in the fourth quarter. Not the Jaden Daniels fumble, but the other fumble before that.
and I think Terry is slated to start tonight. So does he finally show up, or is he going to be absent to our offense again?
I think he's going to be on a pitch count. I think they're going to ease him back in. But I think that after his fourth or fifth route, if he's feeling good, I think he tells the staff, obviously, hey, I'm feeling good. Keep me out. Keep me running. I'm loose. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's integrated in, it's because he's feeling good today. But I think we're going to see him on a pitch count. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 3 catches, 30 yards. They might be impactful plays. But obviously looking forward to having Terry back in the lineup. We need him. I believe Noah Brown is back as well. But my last thing that I had here is we need some impactful plays on defense. We really need some impactful play, especially
we need turnovers, really.
Yeah, but even if we don't get the turnovers, if we perform well on first down, I think that's going to be our key, because we know we struggle on third downs this year. So we need to put the offense in a tough spot on second down. We need second and longs to make our third downs easier. You know
I think you're right. Yeah.
So put them in a situation where I feel like our offense is constantly at. How many times are we seeing that?
But that speaks to what I was hinting at in what I was saying. What version of our defense shows up,
Well, we got to hope it's this new and improved Dan Quinn defense is what we need to hope for, because that old defense that we've been seeing all season long obviously doesn't work.
No.
But we really, I'd like us, hopefully off of this bye, got a couple more practices in. Dan was able to scheme some things up. I also wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing a mix-up at certain positions and start seeing some players that we might not necessarily know right off the top of our heads. Because I believe that we started seeing a lower snap count out of Quan Martin for whatever reason. Maybe it was just the packages or the defensive set that we were in last week, but he's a young player that I would have thought that we'd be seeing more of, not less of. But you got a new defensive coordinator in there. You're going to see different things. But we really need to get to the quarterback. I mean, it's surprising, but that we're asking for Von Miller to be an impact, but we really do need him. I mean, and I'm tired of these garbage sacks that he gets week by week. People are looking at his stats. Oh, wow, he's got a decent amount of stats or sacks. No, he doesn't have a decent amount of sacks. All these sacks are trash sacks in the last 2 minutes of the game, 3 minutes of the game, where nothing matters. I want to see some impactful players early in the game. The other thing that we're going to need is we need to come out firing, hot, pumped up, psyched up like we did against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, we lost that game.
That's what I would like to see.
We were pumped. I mean, our intensity needs to be very high at the very opening snap of this game. This isn't a game where we're going to get warmed up. Like, we need to come out firing,
ready to go,
and we can't get cold, because if we give them momentum.
I mean, that was nice to see against Kansas City, because you're watching that and you're like, where's this been all year?
Right.
So, but we're about to turn into the red zone lot here in about 500 feet.
Yep. Let me get these parts parking pass is pulled up here. Tickets, parking, red zone. A light drizzle. Man, I'm hoping this drizzle stops. I'm hoping this drizzle stops. I don't like the rain. Now, I do got my new throwback thrift store Redskins jacket, my winter.
You're breaking that out for the first time.
Yeah. All right, we're in. Hail to the Redskins. Oh, jeez.
No idea what he just said.
He's all right, man. One of these days, we should get one of these parking attendants on the podcast. What's your job look like? Well, I mean, how's it feel to only work 9 days a year at the stadium? But, all right, you know what? Another thing that I'm looking forward to. I want Redskins fans here today. I don't want Denver Broncos fans. Lions fans took over.
They really did. And we talked about that.
I don't want to see all the Broncos fans. Like
watch out. Watch this guy. He's like...
Oh, the golf cart coming through. How you doing, man? Thanks. All right. We are in the lot. We're in the lot, the rainy lot. And you know... Compared to previous games, Mike, this looks like not a lot. We don't have a lot of fans here yet. Everybody's
no, we do not.
Still at home. Let's see. Oh man, it's an empty lot, folks. It's an empty lot.
It's almost bare.
It's 3:11, so we're here.
But the lot did just open at 3, so
it did just open. So where do we want to be? I think we want to be right there. We're locking and loading. We're not going to go that far down. I'm not weeble wobbling this week with our parking spot. We're gonna post up right in here. Couple spots down from the Porta Johns, smacked in between the trees here. Now remember, we can't back up the whole way because we got to get our flag posted up. All right, so listen, we're doing shish kebabs. We've got this big old camper van we call Coach. I've got a big old Command the Commute magnet on the side, and then we're going to post these flags up on our flagpole. If you listen to the podcast, and you're coming to the game, come. We'll give you some shish kebab. It's going to be steak and pork chop. We've got some extra drinks here. We'll crack open a beer and talk about it. But this is the point in the podcast where we always say, you know, if you've listened thus far, this is where we would really appreciate a comment, a review, a like, a share. But specifically, I want to comment on what you think tonight's final score prediction is going to be, which leads me into my final score prediction. 26-19 Washington, Mike. It's going to be a bounce back week. I've got mile high hopes. I've got high hopes.
I'm glad somebody does.
Hey man, we're at the stadium. We're about to start cooking food and drinking beer and watching football for the rest of the day, dude. I've got high hopes. 26-19 Washington win for no reason, because it doesn't matter if we win at this point or not.
I'm glad
it matters if we lose. If we lose, we will be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Well,
now,
I think we're going to lose. I think we're going to lose 24-17.
24-17. That's not the first time I've heard that combination of numbers. But I think you had us in the win column when I heard those numbers last. But you've got us losing 24-14?
17.
24-17 by a full touchdown.
Yeah.
So maybe we have the ball in the fourth quarter. I mean, based on your score, we're going to be in our seats the whole game. And based on my score, we're going to be in our seats the whole game.
We shall see.
We shall see. But thank you guys so much for listening to the Command the Commute podcast. We really appreciate all of you. Hail to the Redskins. We'll see you next week.
I said, give me a hell yeah!
Thanks for listening to the Command the Commute podcast. I now welcome you to crack a cold beer, cook up some chicken wings, and enjoy the football game. Because the Commanders, the team, the Redskins, or whatever else you call them, is gonna kick some ass. If this is a home game, Bob and Michael will be in the Red Zone lot at Northwest Stadium. We encourage you to come to our tailgate and say hello. If you are still listening to the podcast, wow, you are an extremely loyal listener. I wonder how much longer you'll stay. Hey, I've got a question. How much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? You've got mail. Goodbye.